Hey guys, welcome back to the Prosta English podcast. Now it's the middle of December, and usually in December, I like to analyze my year. I like looking back and noticing the nice events that happened, my achievements, the habits I formed, and so on. I do this for three reasons. And the first one is that I have a really bad memory. Every day I have millions of tasks in my head, and that's why it's hard for me to keep everything in mind. Sometimes I look back and think, oh, nothing interesting happened. But in reality, the year was full of memorable things, but they just slipped out of my head. The second reason is that when I reflect on the past year, I get to relive these moments one more time. They fill me up again and help me consciously realize that I'm a happy and lucky person and that my life is really exciting. And the third reason is appreciation. Sometimes when we open social media, we see that everyone around us is extremely successful. They've already earned millions of dollars, traveled all over the world, built successful businesses, have three children, perfect bodies, and seem to know exactly how to live in balance. And then we start devaluing our own achievements. Oh, I haven't done this, I haven't bought that. But in reality, all of us have different paths, different speeds, and different circumstances and conditions. We don't know when these people started or how much effort they put in to get where they are now. And that's why we don't need to focus on their results. Yes, we can be inspired, we can be motivated to want a similar life, but we shouldn't compare ourselves to them. We should only compare ourselves to who we were some time ago. That's why it's so important to sit down and focus on the areas where you've become better, the skills you've acquired, and the knowledge you've gained. And trust me, when you do this, you will not feel miserable anymore. You will feel proud of yourself and you'll start appreciating all the effort and time you've invested. In this episode, I want to go through my year and highlight the main events that happened to me. It will be my own kind of self reflection, and maybe I will inspire you to look back at your year and draw your own conclusions. So let's get started. In January, my brother, who lives in the Czech Republic, came to visit us in Poland, and we went skiing together. I remember that it was a rather warm month. There was no snow at all, but we decided to go skiing anyway, not far from Gdańsk. There was just one slope at that ski resort with artificial snow, and it was perfect for us because we are just beginners. But can you imagine? While we were skiing, it started snowing for the first time that winter, and it was a really intense snowfall. We had so much fun, and it felt like a fairy tale. I remember that by the end of the day, after skiing for 8 or 9 hours, I felt so exhausted, everything hurt, and I could barely move my arms and legs. But I felt alive and extremely happy. So I would definitely love to repeat this experience this winter too. February was one of the best months of the year, and let me explain why. In December and January, I was working a lot. Even though I hardly had any classes, because during this time many students usually take vacations, I was taking enrollments for my English courses. I've already been organizing these courses for more than 3 years, but I always enjoy creating something new. I like surprising my students, and I also like doing something extraordinary for myself to keep my own interest alive. So last winter, I decided to organize courses in a Harry Potter style. I bought a Hogwarts uniform and went to a Harry Potter themed restaurant in Gdansk to record some videos and take photos. I also organized a webinar where we held a Harry Potter house style sorting ceremony and created invitation letters for students and some themed activities. It was so much fun, but when the courses started, I felt exhausted and I really needed to recharge my batteries. So, my husband and I went on a vacation to Tenerife for 11 days. Oh my God, it was unforgettable. First of all, I fell in love with the island because it had everything I needed: sun, perfect roads, delicious food, reasonable prices, breathtaking nature, and friendly people. Secondly, it's in Europe, so we could fly straight from Gdańsk in just 5 hours, and we didn't have to waste extra days traveling there and back. I shared more about this experience in the 44th episode of the podcast, so you can listen to it later if you haven't done it yet. But I can tell you this: I dream of going back. And if you are looking for a wonderful winter vacation in Europe, Tenerife is definitely an option to consider. I'll skip March because it feels like not much happened. I was just working a lot, and the only notable thing was that we hosted my parents in our apartment for the first time. It was unusual, but also a really heartwarming experience. But in April, I went to Paris to visit Daria, a teacher from my team, and it was a very spontaneous decision and just a short getaway, only for 3 days. But Paris in spring completely amazed me. I took pictures of all the main sites, ate oysters, pastries, and snails, drank a lot of wine, and enjoyed watching the locals. I even visited a location where my favorite series, Emily in Paris, was filmed, and it made me feel thrilled and over the moon. I shared more about my French adventures in the 47th episode of the podcast, so you can check it out if you want to hear the full story. In May, we hosted my cousin Angelina and her husband Mike for the first time in our apartment. For me, it was a really meaningful event because my cousin and I were super close during childhood. We spent all our holidays together at our grandparents' place, and I always looked up to her because she was very smart and well rounded. And thanks to Angelina, I fell in love with reading. I used to hate reading, but she was always reading next to me, and it inspired me to take up this hobby too. During our university years, we drifted apart a bit, and it seemed like we had lost our connection. But 5 years ago, when they moved to England and we moved to Poland, we started keeping in touch again. Maybe thanks to all the challenges and shared experiences that unite immigrants. We've already visited them twice in England, and they came to us in April for the first time. So I was really happy to host them and show them our city. Oh my God, in summer, I did so much, and I have no idea how to even make it short, but I will do my best. So, in June, I visited Montenegro for a week. And it was a family trip with my husband, my uncle, and his three daughters. Now we all live in different countries and they do not have European visas, so we had to choose a country that doesn't require a visa for Belarusians, and we picked Montenegro. I had never been there before, and to be honest, I didn't expect much. But it's such a beautiful country, really. It has both mountains and the sea, which was so warm. And again, I would love to go back one day, travel more around the country, and explore different areas. Because with three children, that was nearly impossible this time. Also, in June, we went kayaking with our friends. It's in a region about an hour away from Gdansk, known for its rivers, lakes, and beautiful forests. I had been looking forward to this adventure for a long time, but that morning when we woke up, we were disappointed by the weather. It was so cloudy, and when we arrived, it started raining. We even thought about canceling the trip, but in the end, it turned out to be amazing. At first, the river looked so mysterious with all the fog and rain, and later the sun came out and we quickly dried off. So we enjoyed nature, chatted, ate snacks, sang songs, and so on. And it was definitely one of the most fascinating days of the summer. In July, I organized a summer speaking camp. I hadn't run speaking clubs for a long time because I had gotten a bit tired of them and lost my enthusiasm. But this summer, I came up with lots of fun topics for discussion and activities. So I was really excited to start this project. In July, Paul and I played tennis in our yard, hosted our Lithuanian friend who currently lives in New York, celebrated a friend's birthday on the beach by the sea, attended a master class where we painted and then sang karaoke, and I also went to Belarus to spend time with my family. One thing that was really memorable this time was that I went to a Catholic church with my grandma. My family is Orthodox, and all my childhood, my grandmother tried to convince me to go to an Orthodox church with her. But like most kids, I didn't like it and always came up with some excuses not to go. This time, my grandma called me and said she wanted to visit an old wooden Catholic church not far from our city, and surprisingly, I agreed. And to be honest, it was an interesting experience because the church service was in Belarusian, and I had never attended a service in the Belarusian language before. So it was a truly uniting experience, and I felt that I had grown up and changed my attitude toward some things. In August, I went to a music festival in Warsaw with my childhood friend. We danced, sang songs from our childhood, and had an absolute blast. After that concert, I realized how important it is to go to different concerts and festivals because afterwards, you're full of energy and ready to rock the world. In September, I had the most unexpected and spontaneous trip of my life. I've shared more about it in the 56th episode of the podcast, but long story short, I decided to surprise my parents and visit them in Turkey while they were on vacation. They didn't expect to see me, and I hadn't even planned to go. I made the decision in just 1 hour, bought the tickets, and the next day I was already in Turkey. And it was literally the best decision ever. We spent 7 days together by the sea, and this adventure filled me with so much joy. And it taught me that anything is possible when you really want to make it happen. October, November, and December were full of concerts. As I told you, I got really inspired by the festival. So in October, for example, I went to a candlelight concert. You've probably seen these concerts on Instagram. Like there are lots of candles placed around, and usually instrumental live music is played. And my husband picked a program with the most popular rock songs. And I had expected to hear just the music, but they were also singing, which made it even more enjoyable. In November, I went to a cover concert organized by a Belarusian couple who also live in Poland. They usually play live music in local restaurants and mostly sing in Polish or in English. But this time, they decided to organize an evening for a Russian speaking audience performing the most popular Russian and Belarusian songs that everyone knows. I went there with my students and it was so much fun. We sang, danced, chatted, and enjoyed some non alcoholic Prosecco together. In December, my childhood friend invited my husband and me to a cottage house to celebrate her birthday. And it was such a fun experience. We played games, danced, lit a fire, ate a lot of delicious food, and caught up on all the latest events in our lives. And since it was a private house, we loved that we could play music as loudly as we wanted, shout, and just have fun without worrying about neighbors. But December isn't over yet, and I'm looking forward to a few events. For example, this week I'll have a graduation party with the A2, B1, and B2 courses. We had so many cool, active, and ambitious students this fall semester, and I'm really thrilled by their progress and results. And I can't wait for the moment when we can all gather together again and share our experiences from the courses. Also, in a couple of days, my parents in law and my brother in law will arrive and we will celebrate Christmas together. It's already a tradition to gather at our house, cook lots of mouth watering dishes, exchange presents, set the table, and simply enjoy spending time together. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing this personal episode with me. I encourage you to take a moment to sit down, scroll through your gallery, and write down all the things that have happened to you this year. Trust me, it will lift your mood, and by the end of the year, you will feel happier and more fulfilled. I'll also mention that on the 19th of January, new English courses for all levels begin. And if your goal for next year is to speak confidently and improve all your English skills, I warmly invite you to join us. We have the most interesting program, the kindest teachers, and the most enthusiastic community. Basically, everything you need to make your English dreams come true. You can find more information on the website or on my Telegram channel, and the links are in the description of this episode. And remember, you can always contact me personally, and I'll be happy to help you identify your current English level, choose the right course, and answer any questions you have. Don't hesitate to reach out and trust me. If you enjoy listening to this podcast, you will absolutely enjoy being part of the courses. For now, have a great day and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.